this will be very casual. So if you guys want to unmute yourself and chat, please do. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Perfect. Can you guys see my screen here?
It says has started screen share. There we go. Now we can.
Awesome. And while we go through this, I'm just going to move all of my chat stuff over. All of the images in our slide is they're hyperlinks. So if you can click on those images, they'll take you to the websites. But Florina and I will do our best to put those links into the chat as well during the slideshow. So we are part of the education team for Idaho PTV. And we currently have 4 team members, but our team is expanding. So we like to cover the entire learning ecosystem. Carrie Wardle is our education manager and also focuses on formal teacher training. So she has some 4-credit courses available through ISU, and she can come in and do like learning or media integration in your formal classrooms if you were interested in that. I'm not sure. I know we are focused on like out of school learning, but sometimes there's some crossover. Florina, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Florina Rubio, the family education specialist. And we also have Jessica Solberg, who is our associate producer. She's kind of our behind the scenes person. She does our newsletter. She does a lot of our like information gathering, all of that great stuff.
And then I'm Trisha Mick, the community education specialist. So I do a lot of informal education training and support. And then I also do a lot of hands-on activities with kids in their setting. So in libraries, in out of school times, 21st century, wherever you guys want us to go. And our team is expanding. So we currently are in the process of hiring for 3 new people. A full-time position in North Idaho, a part-time position in Eastern Idaho, and then I'm assuming everybody here knows, but Florina, do you want to say?
Oh, sure, yeah. So my last day is Friday, so my position is currently open as well.
And she's going to ION. Like,
I was gonna say, you're not gonna miss Florina.
Yeah, I'll be around.
She's still around.
So Florina did put in the chat the link to our current full-time position in Southwest Idaho. That's the one that's open at this time. Our North and Eastern Idaho positions closed last Friday. So hopefully we will have somebody within the next month in those areas. And we're really hoping that they'll help us serve more of Idaho. So all 4 of us currently are stationed in Boise, although we do a lot of travel across the state. But having people in North Idaho and Eastern Idaho will help us serve you guys more. So. All right, we also have streamlined our education website. So if you haven't checked out our public television page yet, this will look very differently. So we like to say that we are hitting the entire learning ecosystem. We have people who focus on educators, both formal and informal. We have somebody who focuses on that family enrichment and engagement piece. And then we have somebody who focuses on that community engagement piece. So when you go to our website, you're going to see a banner at the top that gives you kind of an overview of some new things that are coming. And then we have dedicated sections for what our users want. So if you are, from the community, obviously you guys are from the community, but you can click on that button and see everything that's available for you. If you're a formal educator, you can click on that education button and see what's for you instead of having to dig through websites, because that's always a challenge, right? And then we also have a monthly education newsletter that goes out. Highly recommend that you guys register if you are interested. We send it out typically the first or second Tuesdays of the month, and it gives you just an overview of everything that we have going on or events that we are going to be at. So, Coeur d'Alene is going to look much different than Parma, but you can at least see what we've been doing in Coeur d'Alene and say, oh yeah, I would like to do that in Parma, or let's talk more about what we can do for your community. So that gives you just kind of a great chance to see what there is. I'll pass it over to Florina.
Thanks. So part of my position is overseeing the family and community learning. The family and community learning workshops are 4-week workshops that take about 10 families, no more than 10 families. We try to keep it small. We offer a free meal at the beginning, and then we focus usually on a STEM activity. So this one that you're seeing pictures of is our Cat in the Hat series that focuses on engineering. So every week we're talking about a different concept, and the kids get to do activities. The pictures you see here are a little different because this happened during, these pictures are from 2020 when everything kind of shut down. So normally these would be held at like at a school, after school, or at a library or a different location. But because nothing was open, we sent the materials to the families directly. And then we also sent them ingredients to make a meal together so that they were still getting that free meal as well. And they got to spend some time together, and the parents and families really enjoyed it. One of the families said that they loved making the meals together so much that they continued that tradition. It's a really kind of fun activity. It's great because we bring all of the materials, we bring everything that's needed, and the families just show up and have a good time, and then they get to leave when they're done. And so I think it's really beneficial for everyone all around, and it really gives parents that language and encouragement to help their kids kind of spark that curiosity and ask questions and show that STEM's not really a big scary thing, right? But that science is in everyday life and kind of very easy to engage in.
I will also say, so this FCL is what we call it, family community learning, because it is a month-long or continued engagement cycle. Florina and I typically haven't been able to do this more than what's 2 hours away from our station, because we do have to go back for several weeks at a time. So part of hiring somebody in North Idaho and Eastern Idaho is to help us be in those communities more. But we are looking at doing some host trainings or a train the trainer type system. So if you are in a community that is not relatively easy to get to, and I say that with an asterisk because every single community in Idaho is important and we want to be there. But some communities we just can't get to every single week. So we are looking at doing some host trainings. So if your organization is interested in doing some FCLs, we are looking at like, how can we best train you guys and support you, send you the materials that you're going to need so that it isn't as cost prohibitive. And then your team does the programs as part of your traditional family engagement programs. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know and we can figure out a way to say yes, because that is my motto, is figure out a way to say yes. Another awesome program, and I'm going to say awesome because I'm very biased, is our Storytime support program. So in the spring of 2022, we did launch our updated Storytime in a Box model. And it's wild that this is still the same year, because in my mind, spring 2022 was like 5 years ago. But the Idaho Storytime in a Box program originally focused on early literacy skills. So we focused on that read, write, sing, talk, and play skills of early learning. On our website, we have all of the resources and digital materials available for this program. So if you have anybody who is interested in learning more about Storytime, how to implement more literacy aspects in there, implement some play aspects as well, I highly recommend that you check out this program. The physical boxes themselves aren't available, as that was a one-time thing, but all of our like Storytime tips, Storytime songs are available. I have lists of books that I highly recommend. And I have a background of libraries. When I first came in, finding Storytime songs that were appropriate and easy to use was the hardest part. So on that Storytime song page, I have linked to my Spotify playlist where everything is listed out, whether it's a manipulative song, so using scarves, or a finger play song. So that is also available for you. And coming next month is a program that I've been working on for 6 months now, is our STEM Storytime in a Box. This is in partnership with Idaho Commission for Libraries and Idaho STEM Action Center, along with support from Project Learning Tree and Ready for Kindergarten, Ready for Math programs. This box is going to be a one-time box that is available to 70 libraries, preschools, and early childcare centers. So anybody who is working with 3 to 5-year-olds. We are going to be having a preview webinar for this program on Friday, October 21st at noon, at noon Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, to kind of go over this program. It is going to look slightly different than our original Storytime in a Box. With this one, Jennifer Redford from Commission for Libraries and I have created an online learning program that's 60 minutes that kind of goes through the basics of STEM and Storytime. Tip, you guys are already doing STEM and Storytime. This is just going to give you those little pieces to bring it out more. And like I said, we have enough funding right now for 70 programs, organizations to get a box, but I do have verbal confirmation from Erica at STEM Action Center that we can have more funding if we have more than 70 people.
All right, and next we have Bright by Text. So Bright by Text is a texting service that any family or caregiver can sign up for. And it gives information about child development from not only national organizations like PBS, Delta Dental, Sesame Street, all of those, but we also, because it's a program that we oversee, have the capacity to send out local messaging, and that's either by state, by county, or by zip code. So if you're having some kind of family event, anything that's related to the 5 protective factors, then that's something you can sign up for, to send out a message to any family that's signed up within the area. So all you got to do is text Idaho Family to 274448, and then it will prompt you. The messages are available, which I really love, in English and Spanish. So they just sign up, they give a little information about like how many kids they have and what the ages are, and then they get information relevant to those ages. This year they actually just expanded the ages from 0 to 8 to 0 to 18. So now it's covering topics on teens as well. So I really like that. But again, if you need any information on Bright by Text, just feel free to shoot me an email or visit the link there.
I like that. I also learned that it's going to be 0 to 18. So everybody's learning in this. We also can send you those promotional materials. So on the screen, you can see what our 2 bookmarks look like. If you are interested in getting those and handing them out, let us know and we can mail them to you. We have that funding to do so. Or like digital slides, digital promotions as well. All right, we also have a pretty cool feature on our website called Idaho PTV in your neighborhood, similar to how we are using our education newsletter for letting you know what is available and what we've been doing. We have started collecting stories from people who we have interacted with over the last couple of years. So we have stories from actual Idaho families, educators, and community members about their experience when we have come into their neighborhood and provided some resources. I'm not sure, I assume everybody here knows everybody. We didn't actually do introductions, but you can see one of those on there is Kara Marchbanks from Notice School District, Community Schools, and Florina went out and did a bunch of programming with them, and so you can read through those and see if anything sounds like something you want for us to bring into your neighborhood. This is just kind of a showcase of what we do and why we do it. All right, so a lot of our stuff is geared towards more of those younger ages, just because PBS Kids is a huge sponsor for Idaho Public Television, and they typically focus on that 3 to 8 range. But that's not to mean that we can't do anything with middle school, or sorry, elementary school, middle school kids, or even high school kids. And part of this webinar is to show you what we do, but also if you have something in mind that you want us to bring into your school or your community, let us know. Like I said, I like saying yes and figuring out the how later. And so if any of this is like, yeah, this is great, but we really want to do something else, let's chat. So one of the activities that I do for a lot of the 21st century schools is coding activities. Specifically utilizing PBS Kids Scratch coding, drag and drop coding feature. All of our apps, which I didn't put on our slideshow, PBS Kids has a ton of apps that are available for both iPads and Androids, and they're all free. Well, they're mostly all free, and they once they are downloaded, they don't require internet access. So the PBS Kids Scratch coding is one of those that I like to use when I go into schools. You can see a couple of the pictures here. I typically start the kids out with some full body movement. So we do games such as like a Simon Says game with all of our coding blocks. So the kids kind of understand that the blocks are instructing them to do stuff. And then we go into utilizing paper-based blocks, and you can kind of see it. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but in that middle picture, you can see some paper blocks. I should have had a better picture of this, so that they have some tactile feelings. And then we move into the tablets and start coding that way. You know, all of our apps and media are geared to be used in conjunction with other things. So we never want to hand a child our tablets and say, go for it. We want to really help them develop all of their learning and skills together. And as you can see, the kids gravitate towards each other. So even though they're on a tablet doing their own activity, they are constantly talking. Half the time they're like standing up, maybe even like on the table, because they're so excited about what they're doing. And then at the end, I also have them, if they're interested, in presenting what their code did. So you can see I have a girl here from Caldwell presenting to the class about her code that she was really excited about. So it gives them some kind of leadership aspects, slight bit of, you know, public speaking in a sense, but it really helps them see that coding is not just all about the computers. It mashes all of these other things together. So with this one, I typically recommend at least 2 or 3 sessions, just so that the kids really understand that there's so much more to coding. If you do have older kids, I've used PBS Kids Scratch Junior up to 6th grade, and I feel like it's a great introductory. But if you do have middle school or high school kids that you would like to bring some coding activities into, I used to do that at the library, and I'm happy to bring some other coding aspects into your programs as well. And like Florina said, we are constantly coming out into the community and doing hands-on activities. I would love to come and visit your schools or your organizations and do some hands-on stuff. A lot of what we do is focus on that STEM literacy and social emotional learning. So we have a few pictures here just as examples. And one that I really want to point out is the boy in the upper right-hand corner. We did a pretty simple Cartesian diver activity that talked about water pressure. It utilized very easy to find materials, so plastic bottle, water, straws, and paper clips. And when you squeeze the bottle, if your diver is, you know, developed or designed correctly, it'll sink down to the bottom and then it'll shoot back up when you stop. And this kid was just over the moon excited, and he was like, "It's science!" and just yelled it out. It was fantastic. And so a lot of what we do, as you can see here, we're utilizing materials that are easily found so that kids can have these experiences in their homes. So that bottle activity, although it was really exciting, they can recreate that at home with stuff that they don't have to have a Walmart center or some other box store to get these materials. And they're relatively lower cost. And also we bring everything to you. So, you know, it's completely free for your organization and for your teams. Did you want to add anything to this, Lorena?
Sure. Yeah. I love the two boys in the bottom right-hand corner. They are adorable. This was out in American Falls. I go out that way about once a month, which is part of the reason we are hiring out there, just because we found that area is a good community and always looking for activities. And so we got to expand out there. But here we're talking about bugs, and after that they made butterfly wings, and I just brought all sorts of random stuff and let them kind of be creative. And so this little boy right here in the red and black flannel, there was felt, and I was like, you can use the felt if you'd like. And he was like, no, I want to make sure there's enough for everyone. And I was like, I love you so much. He was adorable. But the kids have a great time. They have family nights once a month in American Falls. They invite all of their they only have 2 elementary schools. So the elementary schools, like every parent from there is invited, and it feels like the entire community shows up. They have a really good, I think they have a really good grasp of what the community needs, and there's a lot of family involvement, and I think they're a great example of kind of getting that family engaged in families learning.
So like we promised, this was going to be very short because typically we like to, you know, connect with you more than tell you what we have. But if you are interested in connecting after this session, as we know Florina is leaving, but I will still be here. And so this is my email address at trisha.mick@idahoptv.org. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. And additionally, so what we do obviously is from Idaho PTV, but what my personal mission is to connect everybody together with resources, whether or not it's something that I can provide. So I am a pretty active member with the Idaho STEM ecosystem, which is a statewide organization that is backed by the STEM Action Center. We have regional hubs and statewide working groups, and this group is designed to really help educators connect with the resources that they need to help support the STEM education in their communities. I lead an early STEM group, so for 0 to 8-year-olds, but we have ones for educator preparedness, we have access and equity working groups, and an outdoor working group, I believe, as well. So if you are interested in learning more about the Idaho STEM ecosystem, let me know and I can connect you with that as well. So for now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see each other and interact, and so that we can hear from you about what you are looking for as well. Perfect. So I would love for you guys to unmute if you feel comfortable, or put in the chat things that you are wanting for your communities, or if anything that we said was like, oh yeah, that would be great. Oh yeah, and you know, just have a conversation about what we do and how we can support you.
Also, shout out to Parma, because I'm from there. I saw someone from Parma somewhere.
Yeah, Katie.
I graduated from there.
Sorry, that was me. We're fine. It's knocking stuff over on my desk. Did anyone need to see like the website, or because you guys have so much? Anyone have questions? Because I know there's community schools and other people on here that if you're actively using IPTV or would like to use IPTV, those of you who need family night ideas, STEM ideas.
We did have a question. Well, it was through my email. I have some directors asking how to access the recording.
Oh, this recording. I think for this, we will put it on the website. I will try to put it in the Learning Academy, but while we figure that out, it'll live on the website in the same spot the recordings always live. have lived. And then we'll work to put it on the Learning Academy as well. But for now, the easiest way to get it will be on the website in the recording web workshop page. Yeah, same place that they have always been.
Words.
I know words are hard.
I will also mention that if you do contact us for coming out to your community, typically what I do is I then want to have a conversation with you. So I know a lot of organizations are like, but what's like the menu of what you offer? And this presentation kind of gave you a little bit of a snippet, but instead of offering just a standard menu of items, I really want to make sure that this is connecting with your communities. And so if you have, if you want to do a coding activity or a STEM activity, we can talk more about like what your kids have been learning, what they've really engaged with in the past, what has been missing, so that we can really design it to fit your needs versus you and your kids fitting our needs. So really want to stress that this is a partnership and not a top down, we're going to come in and do all these things. We really want to support you and your community.
So Tricia, if someone, for example, wanted to do some outdoor activities related to STEM, they can just contact you and say that the focus is kind of outdoors, kind of outdoor education program or something. And how long
Absolutely.
do you
And
think you're creating?
Yeah. And so in that case, we would have a conversation like, what kind of space do you have outdoors? Is it, do you have access to water? Do you have a lot of trees? And we can bring in not just PBS stuff, but I also partner with Project Learning Tree and Project Wet to really help provide those things. So Idaho Public Television in itself has resources, but part of my job as a community education person is to bring the entire community education together. And so, I never want to come in and just expect that a school or a library has water when we do water activities. So I actually bring a whole jug of water and buckets and sometimes towels if I can remember to bring towels. But if you're, from the Owyhees, where there's not a lot of trees and there's more like the high desert stuff, we're going to do activities that connect with what your kids see in their communities. So we might do an activity around lizards or around different ecosystems, unless you want us to do something that engages the kids where they might not see. So if you are from the Owyhees and you want to do a STEM activity utilizing, trees and forestry, we can bring those in so that your kids have those experiences too.
Yeah. You have so many Spanish resources. When you go out, can they also request that part of it be in Spanish or to a certain extent? Or
I would like to say yes, but Florina is our Spanish language person, and she was really great at being able to provide that additional language. So I'm really hoping that our next hires are dual language. But regardless, we can figure out a way to have a translator out there, or to make sure that our instructions and I give very limited instructions. Like usually it's like 3 things that the kids need to know about this activity. But we can make sure that the instructions or the take-home materials are in Spanish so that they are able to utilize those more at home.
And PBS, like corporate, our parent station, they're really good about putting everything in English and in Spanish and in multiple languages. They're working on making sure that everything that they provide, from episodes to everything on PBS Kids website, is both in English and in Spanish. So like for the FCLs, everything's available in English and Spanish. And then like Sesame Street and Communities also has everything in English and Spanish. They actually have, excuse me, several languages. They have like French and Arabic and all of these other great languages. So yeah, I think there's definitely, I think if they, like in the future, maybe if there's someone there at the school or at the site that speaks Spanish, we could provide the materials and then kind of go from there. And then just to add to the outdoor stuff, we did do, I was part of the Book in the Bites, a few around the state. And so we were always outside because it was always at a park. And so we did a lot of outdoor activities and the kids always have a lot of fun. So we do things like build a bug house and look for bugs, or build a beehive and look for bees. So just different things like that, you know, the leaf rubbings, all that good stuff. So yeah, there's plenty of material, I think, for those natural sciences.
And there is a question in chat. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes.
Okay.
But a quick little caveat to the bug thing. I was at a library and I had the kids going on a bug scavenger hunt. And we then had to talk about, we don't want to look at bugs that are on dog poop, because all the kids were like, oh, we found a huge amount of bugs. And I was just like, oh, not that one. We're gonna find something else. So Dawn, you mentioned that you're interested in learning more about the PBS host trainings. If you could pop into the chat where you are from, that would be great. But absolutely, AmeriCorps team volunteers could help. Parents could also help with this, or if you know, like your PTOs, or even additional educators in your group. Rigby, Idaho, perfect. I think Florina was attempting to get connected out there more, so that's definitely an organization or community that we can help with. But these FCLs, typically families come together, they eat, and then we have some activities with like little breakout sessions. So they're really geared to have at least 3 kind of trainers in that session so that they can engage with parents. It's probably doable, but not recommended to just do it with one person. But I think it's a great opportunity to get some of high school students in to kind of showcase what STEM learning is and to give them that kind of leadership ability as well.
Dawn, you'll just have to get Dawn involved. Right,
yes.
Dawn and Dawn. They're a fun program.
And for the record, they have an awesome STEM room. I was in there just a couple of weeks ago and I did not want to leave. I wanted to play, but we didn't have time. So.
Any other questions? All right. Well, I always need time to like process things. So if you do come up with questions or want us to come out, shoot me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn, and we would love to figure out how we can work together.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then before everyone leaves, oops, just know that we have Kayo, who was supposed to be our keynote speaker at the summit. She works for INL. She will be giving her keynote and taking questions and talking with everyone December 15th. That link will be in the Learning Academy on the events calendar later today. So please get in there and register for her training in December. And then if you can, please take the SurveyMonkey. It is literally 2 minutes. It's like 5 questions just to see how we're doing and if you have suggestions for other training. We thank Tricia and Florina for giving us their time today and all their wonderful resources. And then, yeah, the link to this training will be on the website usually by Friday. So by tomorrow, once we get it all downloaded and in there for everybody. But if there's no other questions, we will let you guys go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tricia. Thanks, Florina.
Yeah, anytime. See you guys on Monday.
Thank you, Florina.